Andrea Kramer is with Hirsch, Roberts, and Weinstein, and Andrea is a well-respected litigator in downtown Boston, and she's going to talk to us about some key subjects that a lot of our audience should know about, particularly with non-competes.
And restrictive covenants.
Absolutely.
Right. So you're going to protect me from Mark, right, Andrea?
We'll see what we could do about that.
So, Andrea, why don't you first give us a little introduction about yourself and then tell us what's the state of the union on non-competes?
Okay, so I'm as Mark said, I'm a commercial and employment litigator with Hirsch Roberts Weinstein. The firm is 5.5 years old, and I've been there the whole time. I was with a group of people who helped to found Hirsch Roberts Weinstein since 1999. Before that, in 2 other large firms. And we do all sorts of litigation, commercial and employment. We also do employment counseling and labor.
For our audience that doesn't know, because again, Hirsch Roberts is new, what firms did you initially spin off from?
Robinson and Cole
Wow.
and Sullivan Weinstein McQuay. So there was a
Very
group from
impressive.
Robinson and Cole that came in, and we got together and have taken off since.
Excellent.
And have you always had a specific specialty?
I've always been a litigator. The firm has always had a specialty. We've always been litigation, labor, and employment.
Interesting. So you wanted to talk to us today about, to our listeners, about non-competes and restrictive covenants, because that's been, I'm a management consultant. I think you just learned that, and it's always an issue for me in dealing with entrepreneurs. And I'm not a lawyer, and I know I'm always dealing with a changing landscape.
So the first thing about non-competes is, despite their name, the one thing they don't protect against is competition. So it's one of those wonderful lawyer things, right? We call it
Right.
the exact thing it doesn't do. And so what that means is businesses can use non-competition agreements to protect trade secrets and confidential information and goodwill. But they cannot protect you from just going to compete with somebody else. You were saying that you have entrepreneurs who sign it. And so one of the things that we hear all the time is people sign it and say, oh, my lawyer friend said these are not enforceable. I don't have anything to worry about. You have everything to worry about, because the courts actually do enforce them in Massachusetts. There are limitations.
Right.
But if you've developed goodwill, so that's developing relationships with clients and vendors or anything like that through the company, then you can be restricted from going to a competing business.
Here's an interesting question that I've found, especially as the intranet and firms have grown and different companies. Before, it used to be reasonable in time and distance, the 50 miles and the 6 months to a year. But now, what do you do in a case where you have businesses that are global?
That's a fabulous question. So 2 different issues in a sense. There's the goodwill, the relationships. So for the average sort of mom and pop kind of store, it still will be a regional type of restriction.
Right.
You still will have some sort of geographic limitation. If you are an international salesperson, you're going to be restricted internationally, and the courts are starting to recognize that. On the trade secrets, so these are sort of, knowing the company's jewels in a sense, right? So knowing the technology. On something like that, you probably are going to be restricted worldwide, because technology is worldwide these days.
Interesting.